What's up, guys? Just sitting here getting ready to train, actually. Drinking my pre-workout, staunch, of course. But just some things that were like on my mind. I was thinking about addressing that I didn't really talk about last time at all, and that I get questioned about a lot is like repetitions for working out. Like what reps I hit for this, what reps I do for this, and so forth. Concerning my exercise, like sets and then reps. And one thing I usually tell people is one of the things I like to address is like, don't count on numbers to tell yourself how your workout was. Like, oh, I got to all the sets of this and I did every single rep, so I'm good. Or you can use it for the other way, like, oh, I didn't hit all the numbers, I'm bummed out, my workout wasn't good, blah, blah, blah. One thing I like to think about is like effort, so instead of set like rep numbers, I think it's, if I'm doing this amount of weight, I'm gonna go for like an idea of 10 to 12, say for instance. But if it's easier than that, I'm not gonna end at 12 and just be done with it. Or like I'll be happy that the weight moved that way, and sometimes I'm actually frustrated because I obviously like am not pushing it the way I should with the weight, but ideally, I think a number is just kind of a guideline, and you should base your exercise off of your effort level. And I know, like, for instance, like in Arnold's like Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding, he talks about upper body being 10 to 12 ideally for bodybuilding, and then lower is like 12 to 15 rep range. But I think that depends kind of on what you're working on too. I mean, that's just specific to bodybuilding, and ideally kind of like anyone who's working on just like overall body shape and muscle growth. But of course, with like powerlifting and CrossFit, there's different variations of that. And there's things like burnout sets, drop sets, things like that, where the rep range is going to change accordingly. Sorry, I just realized the lighting in here is super weird. But anyway, I think that's just something to pay attention to. So, like for instance, when I put reps 10 to 12, like ideally, like I'm gonna go for like 10 with the weight that I'm doing. But if I can get to 12, cool. Like it may be super hard, and like the last one may be kind of like spotted through, or kind of a failure rep. But to me, that's better than going through the motions, just going for like whatever number I'm going for, And so maybe that was like my long-winded way of saying that, to not go off of just a number, but go off of effort instead. But I think you'll notice the training difference, because there's a lot of people who I see who like train hard or like did their program, like that's cool, but like you like sometimes you're not. Like sometimes you're not. And some of those like pre-made plans where it's just like this weight of this rep, this weight of this, do your percentages of your max, and this is what you should do. That's cool and all, but that's not always the best, programs. It works, it's very good because it applies to a lot of different people. But if you're somebody who's really trying to make progress, if you're just trying to get in shape, that's cool. But if you're somebody who's really trying to make progress, especially with weight and muscle development and stuff like that, then you need to find different ways to train and push yourself and have your body adapt to the stress levels. And if you're not applying stress, if you do a certain weight and that's what you're supposed to do for 10 and you do it, and it's easy, then, sorry, my pre-workout's kicking in, so I'm a little itchy right now. But then that, you're not accomplishing all you could. And so I think that was important to address, because like, even though I put numbers, that's not necessarily like a set in stone thing. Or if I'm, doing a weight, like I said, and it's super hard, then I know, it's not always me hitting more. Sometimes I overshoot, and that happens. But I guess I'd rather overshoot than just constantly undershoot, So I'm gonna post, I'm about to go train now, but I'm gonna post my back workout from the other day. I thought it was pretty good, pretty well rounded. I try to hit all aspects of the back. Some people, when they go through exercise, like to do maybe a focus, especially with a big muscle like the back. But even chest, like some people like to do upper chest, then focus on lower chest a different day. legs, quads, hammies, you know, stuff like that. But for me, with this back workout that I'm posting, will just be overall kind of back, some row movements, some pull down movements, some variations. And if there's ever any questions on form, on, you know, like how you should go about doing something, if it's not feeling right for you, where you should be feeling it, especially like, you know, lat pull downs, rows, you know, stuff like that. Feel free, DM, comment, whatever it is, hit me up, because that's ideally my goal in all this. But yeah, man, just think about that next time you're in the gym, your rep range, what you're trying to accomplish. Like I said, maybe you're doing it just fine, but that's just something I get questioned about a lot. It's like, hey, how many reps? And that's kind of for you to decide, you know? You figure out what feels good and what level you're trying to push it to. Cool, so check out this back workout. Let me know what you think.
Ugh.